Revelation 5:11-14 says, "Then I looked, and I heard around the throne, and the living creatures and the elders, the voice of many angels, numbering myriads of myriads and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, 'Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing.' And I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea and all that is in them, saying, 'To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever.' And the four living creatures said, 'Amen,' and the elders fell down and worshipped." So sing this with us today, guys.
And Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe, we live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken.
God, our Father, our Lord, you are holy. You are nothing like us, and we thank you for that. We are nothing without you, but you gave us everything. Thank you so much for this school, this semester that we just get to come and glorify you, Lord. Help us to go throughout our day just trusting in the holiness that you are and that you turn us into. We love you and we thank you. Amen.
something a little different this morning, as you can see. Before I introduce these excellent people next to me, I just have a few quick announcements, 2 of them actually. So first of all, Barnabas group registration is now open. Hopefully you have all seen the email that I sent out yesterday. If by some chance you did not get that email, let me know. But this is a sign-up link for those who are not yet in a Barnabas group. So if you have already been in contact with your leader, if you were in a Barnabas group last year and you are continuing that this semester, there's no need to register. This is just for those that are not in a group and are looking for a group. We have some fantastic options available, and I am really excited about it, so hopefully you will check that out. Second of all, next week we have our World Outreach Conference. All right, on the slide. This is going to be great. It's a 4-day event, Monday through Thursday. You can be on the lookout for an email that has a schedule of just all the sessions that we're going to be doing. But we have some fantastic speakers lined up. Both of them are alumni of TFC that grew up in Africa and just have a lot of stories and some great things to say. And we also have a fun game that is going to be happening on Tuesday and Wednesday, where we're going to be taking you guys to different locations around the campus, and you get the opportunity to earn some prizes. So we're really excited about that. So again, be on the lookout for an email that will come out with some more information on all of that. So today I have invited Counseling Services to come on stage, and we are primarily going to be talking about stress. And so we're trying to do that in a very stress-free manner by having more of a casual conversation. We all wanted chairs. Mike requested a couch so that he could be just really comfortable. I don't know what's up with that, but we're really excited to have all of them here. I have questions that I'm going to ask them, but we also want to hear from all of you. So what we have done is we have a cell phone number that is up on the screen right now. And essentially, this is none of our cell phone numbers. This is some random number. And it actually comes to my computer, whatever you text, and it comes to my computer anonymously. So, as we are talking, if you think of any questions you would like to ask, feel free to text those questions to that number. I've experienced that the back has better cell reception, so if you're up front, you may not be able to get your text message through. But if you're in the back and you have questions, go ahead and text that right to this number, and it will come to my computer, and at the proper time, I will screen some of those, and we can pass on those questions to the folks up here. So, here with me this morning, we have Amy Marshall and Victoria Nolan. Both of them work full-time at the counseling office at Counseling Services, and we also have Mike Kowalski, who works more on a part-time basis with the counseling office. So I will give you guys the opportunity to introduce yourselves a little bit, and make sure you tell everybody how many days you have been working at TFC.
So I think that one is on. Can you hear me okay? Is that better? Oh, there we go. Perfect. I think that question is more for me. So, as Jordan said, my name is Victoria Nolan, and I have been a counselor here at TFC for about 24 hours. Just a little bit more about me. I've been a counselor for about 6 years now, and my college experience was at the University of Georgia. I got my Bachelor of Science in Psychology there. I also minored in music and was part of organizations such as the Baptist Collegiate Ministries, Wesley Foundation. I was part of the dance ministry there. Also part of the Red Coat Marching Band, so Go Dogs. I have to say with that, I'm in this stage where I'm a little entitled because I think, well, why do I have to pay to get into football games now? I don't understand, because it's all free. But right after that, I took just about a semester off, went straight into my Master's of Professional Counseling at Richmond Graduate University, and their program is an integration-based program where we integrate Christian spirituality with clinical counseling. And there I specialized in Christian sex therapy, so I really spent intensive focus on sexual trauma, sexual addiction, and sexual orientation, all from a Christian perspective. Not long after that, I got married to my college sweetheart. We now live in Toccoa. We have been for about 4 years, and we got our first little puppy, and he's our pandemic dog. It brings so much joy to our life. Now, I am complete.
Hello, I'm Michael Kowalski. Thank you. I paid them. I did ask for a sectional, so next time, let's get this bigger.
You got it.
I am resident director. That's the main job, and then yeah, I do this on the side, just for fun, because I like seeing you guys more. So that's why I'm here. All right, cool. Stress, guys. Relieving stress. Dumb comments. They're fun. All right, go on.
Obviously, we know who keeps us laughing in the Wellness Center. My name is Amy Marshall. I'm director of the Wellness Center at Charles House College, and I am in my 8th year at TFC. I also graduated from the University of Georgia and love the dogs, the Steelers, not so much right now, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. Love what I do. I thank the Lord for the opportunity to serve each of you, and hopefully today I'm thankful to Jordan for allowing us this opportunity to open up with you in a casual setting and talk about some things that are on your hearts and minds, answer some questions for you, and put faces to names so you can feel more comfortable walking into the Wellness Center and getting the help that you need.
Wonderful, thank you guys. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking about stress this morning. But I first wanted to just address the fact that some Christians feel very uncomfortable with the counseling office, with the idea of going to counseling in the first place. So I wanted to just begin by asking the question here, what would you say to someone who feels that going to counseling means essentially that they are not trusting God for help, which is, I think, essentially the hesitation at its core?
I would say to that you can talk to a therapist and you can talk to God. We all love the Lord and have a relationship with Him. He works through us. I would say that therapy complements. It doesn't replace your trust in God. It unifies your mind and your faith and allows you to become stronger, definitely through the process.
So I'm a counselor, not an IT person. But I really think of a story that some of you may have heard, and it's meant to be a humorous anecdote, but it's actually quite sobering as well. And so if I can, I'm just going to nutshell that story. And it's about a man who was on the rooftop of his house because a storm had come by and there was a major flood coming through the town. And in part of that, he was praying to God to rescue him, to save him. And as he was praying, and this is where most of you may pick up from it, as he was praying, a rowboat came by with a couple. And they said, "Hey, jump in, we can save you, we can save you." He said, no, that's okay, I'm praying to God, I'm trusting Him. And so the rowboat went on by. The water began to continue to rise and continue to rise. And then he kept praying, just kept praying to the Lord. "Lord, I need you to rescue me. I need you to save me. I have faith." Well, a motorboat came by and said, hey, jump in. We can take you to safety. And the fellow said, no, I'm praying to God. I'm trusting in Him. I have faith. So the motorboat went on by. Last but not least, the water continued to rise. A helicopter flew overhead, let down the ladder, and said, climb on. We can rescue you. We can take you to safety." And the fellow continued to decline and said, "No, I have faith that God's going to rescue me." And so at the end of this story, the man actually ends up drowning and goes to heaven. And he's face to face with God. And basically just asks him, "Lord, I prayed for you to rescue me. I prayed for you to help me. Why didn't you?" And God said, "I sent you a rowboat and a motorboat and a helicopter. What more did you need?" And so I think that story really just encompasses this, like Amy was saying, the conjointness of trusting God, and God often uses us, all of us, counselors, friends of support, in order to help and support and carry one another's burdens. So I think that's just part of how we're designed, and yeah, I think that's the story that always comes to my mind in trusting God.
Yeah. This is a pretty heavy question for a short amount of time, so I'll try to go quick because I touched on a lot of the parts. Just in the class I'm teaching online, actually, it's an intro to counseling class. I see this come up more and more in student papers of, you shouldn't be struggling with this if you're closer to Jesus, and it scares me a little bit that there's a guilt complex, I feel like, that gets attached to, I shouldn't need to do this because I should be so close to Jesus. Sorry, I have allergies today. That my mental well-being should be so good because I'm so close to Jesus, so on fire for him, whatever terms people use, whatever they want to throw out. And it can just be even more burdensome. I don't know, reading the Bible, just looking at Jesus himself, looking at Old Testament prophets. That's more of a joke because they were all sad. And they were arguably very close to God. I mean, they were sad for different reasons, but it's just shedding the guilt complex, and we're going to get into this a little later, I feel, being a little selfish with self-care, being able to trust somebody and talk about what's actually going on and being real. I feel like we as Christians should be one of the more ultimate examples of what vulnerability should look like. And I hope we can all, including myself, work on it together. So that's kind of how I view that. Jesus is awesome. He saved us. Grace is already there, whether you feel bad or not. Mercy's already been given to us, whether you feel that or not. So feelings play a big part, but at the same time, at the end of the day, the feelings are going to stop us from oftentimes gaining true healing.
And I would just add, I know from my wife, who's a mental health counselor, oftentimes she's told me that when she's counseling patients, she's sometimes even praying, like while she's listening to them, Lord, how can I respond to this person? What do I do? So this is not something that God is absent from. It is very much something that God is a part of, and a healthy part of development and growth for you guys. And I'm sure that's an opinion that you guys would adhere to as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about stress. And we should just begin, first of all, by stating the obvious, which is that everybody gets stressed out, right? I get stressed out. Everybody deals with a level of stress as part of life. So, but there seems to be levels of stress that are different than others, and people that are struggling with it more than others. So the first question that I have is just, how do we recognize when stress becomes a problem, when it becomes an unhealthy point versus where it's just a normal everyday thing that we all experience?
I think that one is really when you recognize that you're not yourself and consistently not yourself. That could look like being, for example, if you like to laugh a lot and that laughter is gone, or where your level of functioning socially, academically, just in day-to-day life is dropping. But really, I think it's just, in essence, recognizing that I'm not myself right now, and it's more often than not.
Stress is emotional and physical tension that manifests itself in your body. It can look like difficulty sleeping, irritability, frustration, anger, all the emotions, a roller coaster that doesn't end, and no ability to ask anybody for what you need. If it goes on over time, you get sick a lot, and the doctors can't explain it. That's stress taking its toll on your body.
Thanks. That's good. That's good. I would think it would be a matter of function as well. So like when you find that stress is interfering with your day-to-day life, right? You're having trouble getting out of bed. You're maybe having trouble doing well in class because you're just so stressed out about it, that probably indicates a level of problematic level as well. So what can we do? What can our students do here to make sure that they don't hit those levels of stress that becomes problematic and that they manage just this busy semester?
One of the things I would say right off the bat is share responsibility. Don't take it all on yourself. We tend to want to come in and do a great job, and so we don't delegate. We feel like we're responsible for everything around us. Share with others. Two of the things that I preach on a daily in my office and outside of my office, and those that know me know what's coming next: healthy boundaries and healthy self-care. Well, what are boundaries? Boundaries look like letting your yes be yes and your no be no, not being swayed by the crowd, being able to realize why you're here, what your goals are, and sticking to those, with allowing yourself and affording yourself healthy self-care, which looks like healthy food choices, exercise, drinking water, realizing that your body needs the care that you're not giving it. You know, I use this analogy as well. You're not going to jump in your car and head to Atlanta with bald tires, the check engine light, smoke billowing from your hood, and no gas, because you're not going to get anywhere. So you have to remember that monsters are not the answer. Loading up with caffeine after a sleepless night and pushing your body, wondering why you're in the state you're in, is huge. So being able to get out in the sun, being able to be with friends and laugh, being able to exercise and sweat out the toxins. Sleep is huge. I'm going to tell you, as college students, your body powers down. At night, your heart rests and your blood's oxygenated. If you do not sleep, it's going to have an effect. It's definitely going to light the fire with propane gas that is stress. So getting a healthy amount of sleep at night when you can is something I would definitely recommend.
I would just echo that. You said two words that really came to my mind too, Amy: boundaries, self-care, and another word that I would add to that is balance. And so really, in a preventative way, having a balance of work, play, and rest. And being sure you know you have your space and time to work, your space and time to play, and your space and time to rest. And rest can be sleep, it could also be just downtime. And with self-care, really investing in all the aspects of that self-care: physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual. And more often than not, I would say all of us have at least one area that we're putting to the back burner. So it could take like a really regular reevaluation to see, okay, what area needs a little bit more TLC.
Yeah, being preventative is really good, but sometimes you can't always prevent stress. Depending on your job, your schedule, what your life looks like, you can put that time aside, and that time gets taken by anything. So one of the things I use that's practical to help me kind of get through that somewhat burnout period is to have something to look forward to. Get something a few days out, a week out. Hopefully it's not too far out, because you're just gonna be sitting there for weeks like, I can't wait. Your hair's falling out. That's why I have a hat on, because mine is. But yeah, just getting that thing to look forward to kind of keeps you motivated. That's just a small practical step that I take. Like when all the preventative measures have kind of been put to the wayside, whether that's life handing you various circumstances or your own bad choices or whatever it could be that has brought the stress on almost at a constant level, just finding something to look forward to is a good way to kind of break out of that cycle.
Can I add, humor is definitely a great way to deal with stress. Whether it's prevention, whether you're in the throes of burnout, definitely. Even just listening to Mike up here, I'm like, my stress is like...
Thank you. I'll bill you.
So let me follow up with maybe the flip side question to that, which is just with self-care. I think we all know these people, we all have friends that maybe we think do a little bit too much self-care or a little bit too much leisure, too much relationship perhaps? Do we have, like, how do you know when, how do you strike that perfect balance between, like, yes, I need self-care right now, but at what point is it like, okay, that self-care is starting to become a little bit too much indulgent and I'm not getting my work done and I'm not, you know, getting the stuff done for school maybe that I'm supposed to be getting done? Can you have too much self-care? I guess that's the question. That's riffing off of a question that was sent in.
I mean, it just depends on how hard you can go. I mean, there's some people in here I know that they go all night, like, gaming with the guys, just going hard, but then you're going to have to sacrifice. Everything in life is a sacrifice. Sacrifice of time, sacrifice of sleep, sacrifice of this, sacrifice of that. So how are you going to make it up? That's the main question, because we're all going to go a little too far. Oh, we shouldn't stay up all night. I have this assignment due. Well, we'll do this till 8 a.m. and I'll just push through. And then tomorrow's going to be a little rough. But then having a plan for after that rough day to kind of reset a little bit. That's where a lot of it is lost. There is no game plan after you decide to go a little crazy and have a little fun.
I think keeping in mind when the consequences outweigh the choices to take care of yourself. You start to get that feeling creeping up like a dark hand around the back of your neck, like, oh, this is coming to an end, and I've had too much fun or taken too much care of myself. I think for everybody, like Mike said, it's different, but you definitely, you know what it is for you. And it's huge not to compare yourself to others, to keep in mind the perspective of where you are and who you are and what your goals are, and that you're not your neighbor, you're not your friend, and to keep your eyes focused straight forward as much as you possibly can.
My dad has this thing that he always says that ye who plays will pay. And essentially this idea that, like, the more play you have, the more pay you have to put in. So I like that idea of just keeping your eye on how much you're sacrificing. That's good. So let's talk a little bit about friends here. You may not be dealing with a stressful situation yourself, but you maybe have a friend that is dealing with that. And oftentimes when you're stressed, personally, it's hard to accept the fact that you're stressed. So what are some things that our students can do if they see that a friend is stressed in an unhealthy way to kind of break through to them and help them recognize that they need a little assistance, they need to come down from that high stress level?
Definitely, I would say have a conversation, be present, ask how they're doing. You want to be very careful not to take on the responsibility for them, because that will breed codependence, not independence. This is their situation, they've gotten themselves here. So there's definitely a balance in coming alongside, being with them, bearing some of the burden like the Bible says, but realizing there's a balance in that because you've got your responsibilities as well. Sometimes it's just sitting next to them and being quiet, letting them know you're there. You're whatever they need, you're just there, you're present, and that's enough for some people.
Yeah, I would say, just add on to that, knowing what they like as part of being their friend. Just an example, one of my roommates went through a really stressful time. I knew he liked cookie cake and cherry Coke. So I went to Ingles, got a cookie cake and a 24-pack of cherry Coke and a bunch of movies he wanted to watch, and was like, we're doing this tonight, turn off your phones, let's go. Did it fix him? Yes. All the way. Everything in his life changed from then on. He ended up getting married, he has a kid. You know, just, I look back and that was the start of that.
That was the pivot.
But yeah, just getting to know your friends and really actually knowing what they like, and then joining along with them in that process to relieve some of their stress. Definitely the codependence is a very, very, very big point.
All right. I think that's awesome. I'm going to start telling you things I like, Mike, so, and then telling you I'm super stressed and see what happens.
I hear you like boats.
I do like boats. I like diamond rings too, and it's like golden chains. So that's what I need when I'm stressed.
Starting a rap career.
All right, I think I'd like to open it up actually to you guys to ask some questions. We just have a couple minutes left here. I have a couple questions that came through. One that came through that I will just voice because maybe some people are interested in this. And the question is, do you have to have a medical diagnosis or a mental health diagnosis to come in and see a counselor at TFC?
You don't have to have any diagnosis. You can walk in, talk with a counselor. We don't bill insurance. We will make a diagnosis with you that we can discuss if that's something you want to do, because we have to have an end goal in the treatment process, or otherwise we're just having a conversation. So we'll talk with you. Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you frustrated? Are you stressed? What does that look like? And then we'll make a treatment plan with goals that you're involved with, and so that we can work toward that.
And it's free, correct?
Completely
Okay,
free.
that was another question I was asked. All right, I have another question that I want to ask you guys, and I'll expand this. So the question is, does lavender oil relieve stress? So maybe I should ask, do we have any sort of like, did one of you ask that? I see you laughing over there. Okay. Maybe you have lavender oil. Do you have any? Is anybody into aromatherapy? Like, that's something you do? Okay, tell us about it.
I mean, whoever wrote that in, I have a business opportunity I'd like to talk to you about afterward. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, my wife uses lavender. My daughter will scream in the middle of the night, I want lavender. I'm not kidding. Like, that happens. So I guess it works. It hasn't for me. They rub it on the bottom of their feet and whatever, but...
Or it's a placebo.
Yeah, maybe it's a placebo, but either way, it's working. So, sure.
So I'll just add a little more, a little more to that. So I'm going to try not to market essential oils. I'll do my best not to do that. But essential oils are plant-based. Even frankincense and myrrh, what we hear about in the scriptures, there are essential oils of frankincense and myrrh, and they each have properties of what they help with. And yes, lavender is one that is great for helping relieve stress and helping relieve anxiety, breathing it in, and putting it on topically. But yeah, that's all I'll say, because I could speak on that for a long time. It works for me. I'm sorry, Mike, that you don't have
Oh,
the
it
benefits of
smells
that.
wonderful.
Yeah.
One more quick question, which is not super related to stress, but well, maybe it is. Do you guys do couples counseling? Is that something that is offered as well? Does that include like dating or just?
Yes.
We will do engagement, premarital, marital, whatever you need, we can offer. I can't speak for the other two, but I can do all of those.
Yes, same. I echo that.
Yes. Yes, my first master's is in marriage and family and premarital and all that, so a little bit, yeah.
All right. One more quick question before we get out of here. Someone asked, why not just take stress meds? So essentially, and that kind of opens it up, at what point would you recommend medication? Is that something you guys do? And how, maybe some thoughts on medication for stress?
I'm going to jump on this one. Okay, stress meds. Let's talk a little bit about that quickly. When you take a medication, your body begins to rely on the medication. And so the things that it would do naturally for itself, it no longer does. It goes to sleep as long as you have that medicine. Is medicine bad? Not at all. We have a conversation about that. We educate you and we let you make the decision. We're not script happy. None of us have the ability to write a prescription for you to be filled. We can make a referral, but there's assessments and things that are done on the front end to determine where you are with that before we just jump into medication. We also educate caution, because when you go to the doctor, all you have to do with some primary care physicians is walk in and say, I'm depressed or I'm anxious. And if they've known you your life or for a while, they'll write you a prescription without even assessing to see where you are. How do you need the medicine? How severe are you? Are there things that you can do? I've been at this for a long time, and I work with people who choose not to go on medication, and they're able to do it through self-care and other methods and stay away from medication and lead a healthy life. Is that for everyone? No. So what I'm telling you is be careful with that. There's definitely a balance, for sure.
All right. We gotta let you guys get out of here, but before we do that, let me just say that tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, from 9 to 4, the counseling office is open, essentially for a meet and greet. So you guys are welcome to come in. Maybe if it's something that you're wanting to just try out, or you want to just meet Victoria, who's new, or whatever you would like to do. 9 to 4, tomorrow and Thursday for a meet and greet. Come on by. Counseling office is right in the Wellness Center. Don't need an appointment, I'm assuming, right? So just walk on in, meet our counselors, and
Set up an appointment if you're interested. It's a good way if people have been seeing me or seeing Mike and they want to switch possibly to Victoria, ask her questions, talk to us both. That's what this is for. Just walk in, and then Ellie will be at the front ready to schedule you an appointment for the following week, okay?
let's just thank our panelists here. You guys are dismissed. Have a wonderful, wonderful